Hi, everybody. This is the one and only Mr. Dennis Diaz, Commander in Chief of the Diaz Task Force that rescues men, women, and children from sex and human trafficking. And today, as I was actually putting my equipment together, the one and only Corporal Tank actually asked me, "Hey, how about we do a podcast?" So we got a lot coming to you today. There might potentially be a serial killer on the loose. Corporal Tank actually decided to do the podcast about mental health, in which actually that's a great idea. We talk about the kidnappings and the hunt and the whole 9 yards, but we don't talk too much about mental health, and that's really important to actually do. So today we are, per his request and his idea, we actually going to be talking about that, and more later on the potential serial killer that we have on the loose, what to do if you guys find any information, and also some powerful tips that is going to help you what to do in those type of situations and hopefully how to prevent it. But with no further ado, Couple Tank, man, love you, brother.
Hey, love you too, man. How you doing?
Good, good, big bro. So, what makes you decide to do the podcast about mental health?
Well, I noticed, especially in today's society, there's I guess you could say, a culture of unhappiness. Excuse me, I got a little cough, so hopefully you guys don't mind. But the culture of unhappiness all ties under mental health, man. If you're not feeling good, obviously you're not making the right decisions, and if you're not making the right decisions, obviously you're gonna not be happy with the decisions that you make. And all that falls under proper mental health, cognitive thinking. Also, like, there's a lot of different types of mental health out there, so it's very important that everybody stays alert of themselves, and do stuff like small goals to keep themselves happy. So yeah, so I'll first of all, I just want to tell my mom, hi mom, I love you. Um, this was supposed to be a tribute to my mother. I love my mother.
Yeah,
So
mom is freaking awesome, man. I love her
she's
too.
amazing.
She's awesome.
So there's when we're talking about mental health, there's so many different things to dive into when it comes to mental health. Um, we could dive into different diagnoses. We could dive into the understanding of different diagnoses. We can also dive into how it can affect your everyday living, and how it can also uh, keep you back from being successful and what you want to achieve in your life. Mental health stems from multiple different things. Some people are born with certain mental health. Some are adaptable, like things that you traumas that you've experienced in your life, which eventually alters the way you think and the way you act and the way you do things, and all those are learned. And so my goal is, for this podcast, is to try and help you unlearn those behaviors to set you on to that course of success. So I guess we'll dive right in. I'll just name a couple of the different types of mental health, and what how hard it is to cope with certain mental health, to give the listeners a better understanding, to give you guys a better understanding of how to approach somebody with mental health, um, how to talk to somebody with mental health, how to appreciate their uniqueness, because a lot of people who have different mental health issues usually have um, something else that they bring to the table. Like, for instance, Albert Einstein, uh, to my knowledge, he had Asperger's and schizophrenia. Don't quote me on that. I know he had one of the two. I'm pretty sure he wasn't even a mathematician. His wife was a mathematician. And but because he was such a brilliant mind, because of his mental health, he was known for his extensive work. So you got to look at it from this way. Just because somebody has mental health doesn't mean that they're not brilliant in their own manner. Um, so let's start with ADHD, hyperactive attention deficit disorder. ADHD is, one of the hardest things that people can. It's passed around like candy by doctors, and especially to young children. They think a child with imagination has ADHD. Um, I don't necessarily agree with those diagnoses. I'm sure that there's some cases where it is, but a lot of times it's just passed out like medication. Like I said, ADHD, hyperactive attention deficit disorder, or as I like to call it, ADHD. Ooh, squirrel. Uh, it's one of those diagnoses that is extremely hard to focus because you have like this built up energy, and so trying to pay attention to a subject or trying to stay focused in class or even basic living. Sometimes people with ADHD, their houses will be extremely dirty because they can't focus on folding the laundry or putting stuff away. It's very compulsive. It's a compulsive disorder. Just because, and it's one of those disorders that usually come with something else like bipolar or depression or manic depression. ADHD is kind of like what I like to say the disorderly conduct of mental health. And people like, what do you mean by that? Well, disorderly conduct is an additional charge. It's like breach of peace, you know? So it's just an add-on charge. It's not a crime in itself, but it's an add-on charge that gives you, it's just an additional charge that the police can charge you with based off of your main crime. Same thing with ADHD. Now, there's some things where it can affect a person's way of thinking, and some people can get extremely agitated really quickly, which then falls under the category of bipolar type 1 or type 2. And bipolar, I don't really have like the best knowledge of bipolar, but I do know that people with bipolar their mood fluctuates. You can have manic depression, which means that be like, oh, like have all this anxiety, and then the next minute you can't get out of bed because the whole world's against you, and you just don't want to. You just feel like blah. It ranges. It ranges between mood. Different things can affect your mental health and your well-being, and these are there's all different types of things that can happen. Another one is schizoaffective disorder. Schizoaffective disorder kind of falls under the lines of schizophrenia, bipolar, I guess. Um, Usually, people with schizoaffective disorder can be treated by medications, just like a lot of different mental health can be treated with medications. But schizoaffective disorder, sometimes people get paranoid. Sometimes people may alter their way of thinking that something is going on when it's not. Be hyper vigilant. There's all different types of things that can happen with schizoaffective disorder. It's kind of like schizophrenia, but not as acute, not as strong. Schizophrenia is where people go into. Some people actually go into an altered reality. What is reality to us? To them, they live in a different reality. A lot of people with schizophrenia may stumble over their words. They might say things that doesn't make sense to us, but to them it makes perfect sense. They may see things. They might see things that aren't there. They might hear things that aren't there. Their reality. They can go into a psychotic breakdown where some become very violent and extremely dangerous, while others are passive aggressive. They don't want to hurt anybody, and even in their mind, they could be hearing voices telling them to kill somebody. They hear voices telling them to collect poop because it's a good source of energy, and they can make plutonium out of poop. Now, is it possible? No, no scientist, but I can tell you that something's just not right with somebody collecting poop in a jar. Okay, so like there's different types of things that go on. Trying to be understanding of people and coherent of these things can really help benefit a person's struggles with things that they deal with. A lot of mental health also come up with upbringing. If you didn't grow up in the best household, didn't grow up with parents that weren't there, that were out all the time, all these things lead to abandonment. And abandonment can also cause severe mental health. Very, very important to tell your loved ones that you love them. It is extremely important to be forgiving and try and have understanding of things. Because if you don't, it's going to affect you and your mental health. You're going to start to have a decrease in happiness. And once those things happen, your health starts to slip. There's a lot of things that happen that not having a healthy brain and unhealthy mindset can really, really, really hurt your life. Some people aren't going to understand. And that's the reason why it's important to have these goals, these short term goals. I like to call them day by day goals. Give yourself a goal. People say, oh, 3, 4, 5. No, that's overloading your plate. One goal, complete your goal. That is your mission. Complete that one goal. Whether it's making your bed in the morning, putting on socks instead of putting your feet in shoes with no socks. Doing something that you should do every day and look at it as a mission. The reason why is it boosts up morale, boosts up confidence. Then you start tackling the little tasks. And then those little tasks become goals. Those goals become morale boost. Helps you get through the day. So that way when people tell you stuff like you're not worth it or you're not this or you're not that, be like, yeah, well, at least put socks on correctly and put my feet in my shoes with socks on my feet, where a lot of people might think, oh, well, we do that every day anyways. Well, some people with depression don't really care about those things. So those little goals can help somebody who has really bad depression or manic episodes. Those little things can help boost your morale and get you out of that funk, get you out of that slump. It's very important to line yourself around positive people who aren't going to baby you. That's the difference. A lot of people I notice with mental health, they use it as a crutch. I don't use it as a crutch. I have mental health, but I don't use it as a crutch. I look at that as fuel. It's like G Fuel for me. You know, on a day-to-day basis, I get criticized, even by my own family, people that I love dearly, and and I don't allow it to affect me anymore. I used to allow it to affect me a lot. It used to like really bother me because I would try and live up to their expectations, but they don't live up to their own expectations, but they expect me to live up to their expectations. And the issue that I have with that is not only is it hypocritical, but comes to our next mental health called narcissism. You never make a narcissist happy. If you want to be happy, it is a choice that you and you alone can make. You cannot allow another person to dictate your happiness. Only you can allow them to do that. And if you allow them to dictate your happiness, well, guess what? Now they have control over you. You can't allow people to have control over you. You are the captain of your own boat. You're the captain of your own vessel. Your success and your will is determined by your goals, your dreams, your aspiration, and your determination to make these things happen. If I listen to all the people who are negative to me on a daily basis, I wouldn't be anything. And those very people may think that I'm nothing, the ones that tear me down. But I prove them wrong on a day-to-day basis. I keep records of my success. The reason why I keep those records is not for their admiration, but for my proof, my legacy, to continue on being a better version of myself. Because now I can look at my videos, or what I like to call my documentary of my life. So when I box. I talk about boxing a lot. I talk about MMA a lot. I talk about my title shots a lot. And a lot of people may look at that as, you know,
Oh, he's bragging. He's
yeah, he's
bragging.
bragging. He's this. Or
show off.
Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But it's never that. For me, it's a reminder of who I am as a person. I'm a fighter. I don't quit. I don't listen to the naysayers. You know, I had people in my own family doubt me. Thought I was full of crap. And then I sent them the videos and they're like, are you still full of crap? Well, those are the people that you got to etch out of your life. If you, on a constant basis, have to prove yourself to somebody, they're not worth being in your life. People who like you will like you for you. And you don't have to crawl to their feet. Sometimes it's better to walk away a filthy mess than to crawl and keep your blouse clean. Fuck that. I would never want anybody. And I know it sounds crazy. What do you mean crawl and keep your blouse clean? Well, let's look at it this way, right? So everybody knows the floor is dirty, right? But what I mean by keeping your blouse clean is Well, even though I'm dirty because I'm rolling on the floor, you know, they can grovel at me. They could be like, "Hey, look at him! Look at this peasant on his knees groveling for us, and he wants us to admire him and give him praise, and we're gonna keep tearing him down so it gets lower and lower into the ground." And it's like, well, walk away with somebody thinking you're that asshole. Walk away with somebody thinking that you're a piece of crap, because at the end of the day, it's gonna backfire on them. They look like the asshole. They look like the piece of crap. They look like the somebody who is not confident within themselves. They're the ones who look like the bad guy, because while you give them praise, they give you grief. Sometimes it's better to kill a person with kindness. Okay, sure, whatever you say, that's fine. And continue to prove them wrong. Make them look bad. And how do you make them look bad? By you shining, by you looking good. That's how.
Absolutely. It's like one of the things I wouldn't focus on making somebody else look bad. Prove yourself right. Because
That's
if you
it.
keep doing things for other people, then you're gonna just fall in this loop. But the
My
way that
point.
you prove them right, just like my brother Tank said, is just prove yourself right. That's why you're doing it, and it works. I love
Every
having
time.
Tank around. Absolutely,
Yeah.
brother.
I mean, if as long as you're living right, dude, the proof is in the pudding. It shows. If you're not living right, then obviously it's going to show. But if you're living right, you're going to be around people that are living right. You're going to be around the right things. You're going to be um, not getting arrested. You're going to not be doing certain things. You're not going to be smoking weed every freaking day. You're not going to be drinking all the time. You're not going to do a lot of the activities that, you know, knuckleheads do. These freaking knuckleheads that want to keep throwing their life away. Proof is in the pudding. If you live right, it shows. So you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. And one of the biggest things I notice with people with mental health is they're always trying to get approval from somebody else. Now, I normally don't talk about my political beliefs on here, but I noticed now I'm gonna flat out and say it. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican because I believe in you earn what you put in. Nothing should be handed free. You earn what you put in. If if I earn respect, then you better believe that I earned the respect. If I earned my paycheck, then you better believe I earned my paycheck. And I don't believe in spending a lot of money on useless things. That's the reason why it's called conservative, because we conserve the money, as opposed to non conservative, which means we spend it all. Why do we spend, like, that's why I notice about a lot of people who are Democrat. And I hate to say it, but a lot of people who are Democrat are unhappy, uneducated. They don't know how to finance their own money, but yet again, they're voting for people who are going to be in charge of financing the entire United States budget, and then they want to give all the money away to other countries. And the way I'm looking at it is, well, how much money do you have in your bank? How many hours did you pull working today? Instead of crying and protesting and everything else, you haven't contributed anything. And then you vote for these people who are going to give your money away. That doesn't seem very educated to me. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't seem like somebody that I would vote for. If you're going to give away my money, why the hell am I going to keep doing office? And then I'm hurting and I'm struggling and I got to pay all these additional taxes because you want to give my money away? No, that just doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of people are like, well, we're going to need these programs. We're going to need this. We're going to need that. No, what we need is a fucking backbone. And what we need is a better system. We need better mental health. For instance, the only way that we're going to better our mental health in our society is if what? If we take the drive and the initiative to better ourselves. No one can do it for you. A doctor can prescribe you a magical pill. Yeah, okay. Pills don't work. You know what works? Getting up, putting your socks on, having a goal, achieving your goal, striving to be a better person every day. And then you will start to notice changes. If you need a higher power, strongly suggest finding a higher power. I believe in God and Jesus. Some people believe in Muslim and Islam. Some people believe in you know Buddha and there's so many different religions out there. If you can put your faith into God, then you should be able to put faith in yourself to better yourself. And if you need a higher power to do that, strongly suggest going to church. Strongly suggest building your spirit up. It goes hand in hand. A healthy life means healthy routine, healthy relationships, be around a lot less negativity. If you can't get away from negativity, like I know people that can't. I know people that physically cannot move. And unfortunately, they're in a position where they're feeling attacked all the time because they are. And when those situations happens, how can you get away from all that? Well, again, this is where I believe having a proper mind and exercising a goal and achieving those goals can also boost up your ability to ignore the negativity around you. Because if you're doing something, how can you focus on the negative? You can't, because you're keeping yourself busy. And that is the most important thing. Keep yourself busy. Stay focused on the end goal. Try not to allow things that you cannot control to affect you. And don't let your mind run rampant. As soon as you start letting your mind run rampant, you're going to see a decline every single time. And then you're going to stop communicating with people, and it's going to turn into a disaster. There's a thing in this life called cycles. Everybody goes through them. And another thing is there's a thing called a loop. And a loop is when you do something, you better yourself, and then you fall back into the patterns. And when you fall back into those patterns, what you did was a complete circle. And then you'll better yourself and you fall back into patterns. You better yourself and you fall back into patterns. The moment those things happen, the moment you start falling backwards, you're not progressing forward. And if you're not progressing forward, then you're allowing your mental state and well-being be affected. So you always got to look forward. Always find a goal to accomplish and take it a day at a time. No need to rush. We're not going anywhere. When we die, we die. Where are we going? Some may argue heaven or hell. Some may argue that we'll turn into a fucking ficus and grow up into a fucking tree. And then what happens? Get fucking cut down and turn into fucking paper. See what I'm saying? At the end of the day, life continues. Life goes on. Gotta live in the now. Gotta be happy. Gotta find goals. Gotta find a way out of the depression. Can't allow it to affect you. And how you do that, like I said on multiple times, ignore naysayers, keep up the positive work, build goals, and just flat out try to find happiness. If you have a pet that makes you smile, play with your pet. If you have a dog, you have a cat, you have a mouse, I don't care what it is. Find something that makes you happy. My mom loves knitting. She loves to crochet. Crochet. Sorry, Mom. She loves to crochet. But I noticed that she hasn't been able to crochet as much because of her health, right? But there's other things that she's really good at. My mom is really good at talking with people. My mom is really good at communication. My mom is really understanding. She's down to earth. She's very blunt. She'll tell you how it is, and she don't care how you feel about it. She just wants to tell you the truth. And sometimes that is what you need to be. You need to be upfront and honest and straightforward. And once you're able to do those things, you're going to start to see things get way better in a better light. Now, I do know that there are people out there who allow other people to run their lives. Last time I checked, you're the captain of your own vessel. That is your boat. Does a captain listen to janitor of the boat to tell them which way to steer? No, because the janitor has no idea the course that the boat is going. He doesn't know how to navigate. Why the hell would the captain listen to somebody who doesn't know how to navigate? That's ridiculous. That sounds absurd, doesn't it? Why the hell would you allow somebody to tell you how you should live your life? I was just talking to my mom earlier today, and she hates the word life coach, and I hate the word life coach because everybody's on a different journey. Now, I could sit there and I could tell you till I'm blue in the face, these are the things that I think you should do. But again, you're the captain of your own vessel. What do you think you should do? Is the question. What are the goals that you are applying in order to better yourself? And what are the things that you are going to take seriously in your life? If you're just sitting here twiddling your thumbs, talking about, I'm going to, I'm going to, I'm going to, I'm going to do nothing. Going to is not doing. There's a difference between doing and going. I could be going places. What places am I going? What am I doing when I go to these places? There's additional questions that follows with going. Going is just an excuse not to succeed. It's a mental health trap. It's a mindset. I was going to make a phone call. Well, did you make the phone call? That's the question. Did you make it? Yes or no? No? Okay. So was your intent ever to call? Probably not. You maybe had the mindset that at some point you were going to, but it takes 2 minutes to make that phone call. Why is it taking a year and a half? These are the little things that are just so absurd and minute, but they're key factors of why you're not going places in your life, why things are struggling, why things are the way they are. It's because of the procrastination and the lack of respect for your life. A millionaire doesn't become a millionaire overnight. He worked hard to get there. And how did he do it? Not by saying he's going to. He does it because he did it. If you ask any millionaire, what did you do today? He's going to give you a whole list of things that he accomplished. Not, I'm going to accomplish these things. They're already done. Most of your millionaires are done with their entire task before noon, and then next thing you know, they're filling up the rest of their day with additional tasks, and then next thing you know, they got the entire year planned out in a planner. They have to have a secretary remind them of everything that they have to do that day in order to keep those money flowing into the account.
Oh yeah, it's all about habits. Gotta have the right habits. Actually, get into it. One of the tricks that I actually like to use is, like for example, I'm not gonna remember everything, and just like Tank says, I got several um, planners or agendas. I just simply put it on my calendar. I always got the phone with me, so I put one calendar for personal matters and the other calendar for business matters. And every single time, send me a notification. Hey, I gotta make sure I do this. Once that hits, once I get that notification, not waiting 1 second, I'm not waiting. Oh, I'll do it later on. I just get right to it. And once you start, even if you gotta do it like that, or you gotta write a sticky note, or write it in your hand. How
I'm a
many
witness.
times have I done that?
I am a witness to that. Let me tell you something, man. This man has a calendar on both devices, as well as his computer. I'm pretty sure, but I can speak for this. He also has two bulletin boards.
Yeah.
He has an entire chart. He has an entire list of what he needs to do to get things done, and these are things that he learned in the Marine Corps. He literally says it, dude. If you see it every day, then you know what your goals are and you know what you need to do. And then every so often, you'll see him add onto that list. So everything that is on that bulletin board is on there, but sometimes you'll see a web effect where, oh, well, I got to do this now. And that's because there's always time for adapting and learning new strategies.
Adapt and overcome, my friends.
Always. So, like I said, find a goal, stick with the goal. Don't let nobody intervene with your happiness. Find a ground, stand your ground, defend yourself, and how you do that by living right. Stop listening to other people. Start listening to yourself.
Yeah, and one thing about these naysayers, right, as we call them, oh, every single time, have you ever noticed that every single time that somebody try to criticize you, it's not even criticizing yourself. So you got one point finger pointing forward and four pointing back. They're not even talking about you. They just reminding themselves of what they cannot achieve or the pretty safe bullshit impersonation that I can't do this because that's also bullshit. So
Mm-hmm.
the fact of the matter is, just because they think that they can do it, they want to put that exact same bullshit onto you, saying that you can do it.
In
It
other
makes no
words,
sense.
I'll give an example. So I go to the gym, and I mean, Dennis is a witness. I mean, I am a fucking, excuse my French, but
Here's the thing.
I am a freak in the gym. Um, I'm benching 450 free weight, not no bar. I'm actually benching 450. I have never taken a steroid a day in my life. Um,
He doesn't do drugs, I promise.
at all, at all. I eat good. Um, and I'm benching 450. I'm deadlifting 600 pounds. I'm doing close to 2,000 pounds on a leg press. I benched an entire machine off the ground.
Yeah, too bad I didn't have the camera for that one, bro. I would never let that go.
I did a dumbbell routine where I did 3,200 reps. 3,200 reps. I was curling dumbbells for almost an hour straight, to the point where people who were massive, they were big, they've been working out for a while, were in complete awe, and they're like, "This dude's insane. There's no way I'm going to do that." They were calling relatives and saying
So true.
how
That was
crazy I was
Oh yeah,
in the gym.
insane.
And yet again, I have other people who try to size me up, even in the gym. They try to size me up to the point where Dennis had to stop his workout to keep an eye on me, because I'm oblivious, because I'm in there busting my butt, putting in 200% effort. Not 100%, 200% effort.
I know you guys out there can do it too. Come on.
I'm like, we went to the gym at 11 o'clock at night. We didn't get home till 5 o'clock in the morning.
The sun was coming up. Like, no bullshit. The sun was literally coming up by the time we got done.
Dennis, doing one of my workouts, how much weight did you lose in one night?
I think it was like nearly 8 pounds, something like that. Like
You hear that? He did one of my workouts and lost 8 pounds in one night, and that's no BS.
And no drugs either, because we don't do drugs around here.
No. And what people don't realize is I'm different. I'm different. And I'm different because my mind is different. Compared to younger me, oh my God, younger me, Dennis will tell you I was a complete animal.
To say the least. Keeping it nice.
Yeah. I mean, Dennis knew me for almost 20 years. I used to hang around the wrong crowds of people. I used to fight almost every day.
For free.
For free.
Not no more.
Not no more. I get paid. But I'm not proud of this, but I have been on the opposite sides of the law more times than I can count. I have taken charges for people that they have done in order to do time, to save their necks, because that's the type of loyalty I have towards my people I consider or my friends or family.
He has literally lost time of his life behind bars just because he wouldn't snitch or
That
he
is the
wouldn't
truth.
say anything. He literally have lost a significant, I'm gonna add, time behind bars just because he wouldn't say a word.
That is true. That's stuff that my mother doesn't. My mother, my brother, or even my stepdad don't even know, is that um I was in and out of jail for almost 7 years. Almost 7 years of my life I'm not going to get back because I don't rat on my friends.
And the fucked up part about it is that they were just fucking him over.
Yeah, they
Stole
were.
his money, literally stole his money, his
That's
bank
true.
card.
Yep.
Run the motherfucker dry.
Yep.
Completely dry.
That is true.
Get out of jail. He doesn't got a penny to his name. Well, hell, they didn't even care if he was back
Nope.
or not.
I
Completely
was
forgotten.
facing fraud and everything else, and they completely screwed me over. And yeah, I ended up doing. I was in and out of jail for almost 7 years. And a lot of it was because I was on probation, and I would violate probation and go back to jail and cuss out the judge during arraignment and have the whole courtroom in just complete laughter because I was crazy. I had bad mental health. I was a misguided child. I didn't have family growing up. I recently got in contact with my mom when I was 18 years old, and it's been rocky. Me and my mom have a very strong relationship now. As far as my other siblings, they all have done me dirty. Every single one of them. There's not one sibling that I have that I can say has actually treated me fairly. Not one. I have been called a liar. I have been called everything under the sun. I was accused of being a meth head. I don't even touch drugs. The only thing,
do drugs.
the only thing I used to do when I was a kid was smoke weed. I don't even like to drink. I never really liked to drink. Even when I was staying with people's house and they would play beer pong every fucking night. Every once in a while I'd play beer pong, but everybody knew that I was the most lightweight fucking drinker. I barely drank. I was always content until like a couple times where I got fucking drunk, and then I would just then the real what I would like to call liquid courage would come out, where I would tell you exactly how I felt, and if you didn't like it, who gave a fuck? Because I was probably gonna get into a fight anyways.
Stone Cold.
But but yeah, I've dealt with homelessness. I've slept outside. And here's the thing: I never asked a single person for $1 when I was homeless. I never ate out of a trash can. I always showered. I always brushed my teeth. I always found a way to adapt and survive. I've lived in tents with bullets flying through my tent. In the middle of winter, mind you, I literally slept outside in the middle of a fucking blizzard with bullets flying through my tent.
Shoot, plop, plop, plop.
For real, because the other people that were at the place where the homeless would put up their tents, they were doing drug deals, and it went south. And I never did drugs, and I still ended up homeless.
Definitely, probably saved your life.
And what's even crazy is the reason why I was ending up on the street is because these people took all my fucking money.
Yeah, he wasn't smart with money. Now he is. Now he's
dude. I'm telling you. I'll tell you right now. I would give thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars away to people just so they have, and I would go without.
Over and over again.
And Dennis is a witness of that. I would give every dollar that I had in my pocket and not even buy myself a pair of shoes.
Yep. That stopped now. But let's just be clear that he still freaking helps. He still does a lot of things. He is committed to the Diaz Task Force, helping people and so on.
Absolutely.
It's just that during that time period, everybody was fucking him over with a pineapple and then some no lube. Like, honestly, but in part that it showed him the lessons that now that he's coming up, he's leveling up. He's doing a lot of great things. He want to share his real story with you, so you guys get the point that all this that he's saying is relevant.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little back history. I was taken away from my mother when I was 6 years old. My father was a child molester. He molested my brothers and me and my sister. I grew up in DCF, Department, and these it's called Department of Children and Families. They were terrible. I grew up in these facilities in the 90s when mental health was nowhere near where it's at today. Granted, it's gotten better than the 90s, but the 90s was full of abuse. I've watched kids uh, fight kids. I've watched kids have sexual encounters with kids. I've watched staff members have sexual encounters with kids. I've watched staff members try to kill kids. I've seen all different types of stuff that you couldn't possibly imagine. A lot of the places I was in were all closed down because of the abuse, and that was in the later 2000s, in like the mid 2000s. I got out of DCF, I think, in 2008. Um, I didn't know how to take a bus. I didn't know how to shower properly. Didn't know how to brush my teeth. Didn't know how to change my clothes properly because I would never match. I didn't know the importance of cleanliness. I didn't know how to work. Um, I was reading at a fifth grade level. Math was terrible. Communication was terrible. I grew up in these facilities. The only people that I've ever interacted with were people who were problem children who were taken away from their problem homes. Some of them weren't that bad. But DCF is like a cash cow. At least during that time, it was insane. And I even lied to my parents or lied to my mom about shit and just completely fucked up our family. I've seen a lot of things. I've been through so much stuff that I shouldn't be alive telling you these things because people have killed themselves for less. And that is one of the things I want to tell you. If I can go through all these things, if I can go through getting jumped every day by 20 fucking kids who didn't like me to the point where I am now, there's no excuse on why you should kill yourself.
Get help.
Like, there's none. And even if you can't get help, talk to somebody who gives you the time of day. If you don't have somebody to talk to us. We're here. We're always going to be here. We know what it's like to be you.
And you can text us and call us at any time at 203-519-6008. That will be 203-519-6008. We're here for you 24/7.
And you know, I've seen the upside, the downside, the good side, the bad side. You know, I'm 35 years old and I've never been on vacation. You know,
We gotta
like
go to Thailand.
yeah, that'll be awesome. I'm excited for that. I'm 35 years old and I'm just getting my driver's license. I'm 35 years old and I'm way better shape than I've ever been in my life. I'm 35 years old and I started businesses. I have worked my ass off.
For sure.
Ass off to get where I'm at. So I don't care if you don't. I know it comes across as being a douche or anything, but I don't care about your opinion of me. Your opinion does not matter. To me, it does not matter at all. What does matter to me is what you're doing in your life to better yourself. If you're trying to build relationships and break patterns, then talk to me. If you're trying to better yourself, then talk to me. If you're gonna degrade me, put me down, not give me the time of day, always want to be the limelight of attention, if you don't allow anybody else to shine, if you don't show respect to your parents, if you don't show respect to your elders, if you don't show respect to your girlfriend or your boyfriend, if you don't show respect to your kids, if you don't show respect in general, then stay the fuck out my way. You are not worth my time.
Get out the way.
Just leave. Don't even bother saying hi to me. Because that hi is an empty hi. That hi, it doesn't come with the full attention of greeting somebody with an open heart. That hi is a nonchalant, just a greeting. That's it. And that shows that you're not very secure as a person. You have insecurities. If you have no insecurities, you would love everyone the same. You would give everybody the benefit of the doubt. You would be forgiving. You would have understanding and compassion. And you would allow other people to talk in the room. You don't have to be the loudest voice. Sometimes the softest voice is the loudest one, because those little things that they say mean the most. They mean the most.
With the little less talk and a lot more action.
So if you're not sincere and you're gonna bash me, talk bad about me, around me, near me, about me, to anybody that I know, you're not to be trusted. And stay the fuck out my way. So I have no problems going through you. And I will go through you. And I will continue to go through any obstacle standing in my way to my success. I will not avoid you. Avoidance is giving me lack of respect for myself. And that's what other people got to realize. Other people got to realize that. If you avoid things in your life, those obstacles become taller and bigger and way more. Sometimes you can't avoid certain obstacles. So what do? You allow them to feel as big and as bad as they are, but guess what? At the end of the day, you can step right over it.
We believe in you.
Those obstacles aren't that big and scary once you're a mountain.
We believe in you.
Those mountains aren't. Those obstacles aren't that bad once you start overcoming your goal, overachieving your goals.
We believe in you.
Those obstacles aren't that scary once you decide to take the turn.
You got this.
You know, these are the things that you need to start realizing. Sometimes a person can say whatever they want, or these obstacles, whether it's finances, right? Dude, everybody's been broke. Everybody's had money.
Oh, yeah, bro.
When you have money, what are you doing with the money that you have? Are you investing into something else?
Or going to strip clubs?
Are you buying frivolous things? How many times did you eat McDonald's? How many times did you eat Wendy's? How many times did you eat Burger King? How many times did you buy a soda at the gas station knowing that that 12-ounce soda that you buy at the gas station is equivalent to a 2-liter at Walmart?
You gotta be smart with your money. You gotta be smart.
Dude, if you're hungry, you make sacrifices. If you're hungry, the littlest things become where you're not hungry. You want to eat a rat, right? But if you're hungry, what would you do? You're putting that shit over a fire when it's a do or die survival situation. The same thing with your success. Failure's not an option. It's do or die. You want it? How bad do you want it? Make it happen. That's it. And if anybody stands in your way, fuck them. They're not worth your time.
Move. Get out the way. Just like Eminem says, if you have one chance,
I'll move you out the way. That's the way I look at it.
That kid's gonna just plow to you.
That's
get it clear.
There's no option. There's no option, because if I move, if I have to avoid an obstacle, then what am I doing? I'm wasting time. If I have to listen to what everybody tells me 24/7, what am I doing? I'm wasting time. For instance, like I said, me and my mom have a really good relationship. We're working really hard on our relationship, right?
Hi, Mom.
If I listen to other people and to dictate how my relationship should be with my mother, who the fuck are they to tell me what my relationship should be with my mother?
The fuck?
That's just a no. You worry about your relationship with your mother. I'll worry about my relationship with my mother. That is not your place. It's never been your place. I don't care about the circumstances. I don't care about the fucking nonchalant, fucking narcissistic attitude or whatever. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. It's between a relationship between their mom and their son. That's it. It's the same thing with anything else in life, right? If I have a boss, who the fuck is my colleague to tell me what I should, can, and cannot do? It's my boss that tells me what I can and cannot do. And if I'm a boss, who the fuck am I gonna my employee telling me what to do? You're fired. You are fucking fired.
Bye bye, Miss American Pie.
That's just the way the world works. Your relationships are your relationships. No one should tell you or dictate your relationships. If you had bad relationships in the past, don't carry that to new relationships.
For sure. Get rid of that baggage immediately.
Because what are you going to do at that point, right? If I got a girlfriend, right, and my last girlfriend cheated on me, am I going to carry that same fucking animosity with my new girlfriend? No, because if I do, guess what's going to happen? Once a cheater, always a cheater. This new girlfriend I have, she's going to have to hear all the bullshit, all the simping, all the whining, all the crying, all the complaining. And what does that solve? Nothing. What does it make? An unhealthy relationship.
It makes it a lot worse.
It makes it so much worse. At the end of the day, know your worth. Know that you are worth something. Don't allow somebody to tell you what to do. Don't have them dictate your relationship. That is bullshit. Especially people who can't maintain their own relationships. It's not their fucking place. That's it. That's just as far as that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Any last words for our viewers? I know in the beginning, bro, you know how we said, yeah, we're gonna do a 20 minute and so on. We have been here with our beautiful audience live for 56 minutes and counting. It always happens because we like to bring you as much value as possible, so we don't look at the timer at all, because you guys are definitely worth it. That's why we do this.
The only thing I'm gonna say is this, and this is the God's honest truth. Even my mother, I know my mother extremely well. She knows me very well, and she'll tell me the same thing because I tell her the same thing. We don't lie to each other. And the reason why we don't lie to each other is because once you start lying, guess what happens? That trust is broken, then a relationship is tainted. It's the same thing as if you're going into a relationship with a girl, right? And once you lie, once you start doing things, they're going to pick up on it. They're not fucking stupid. Just the same way if they do something, right? You're going to pick up on it. You're not fucking stupid. Do the same thing with your life. If you're lying to yourself, what are you doing? You're breaking that relationship with yourself. These are goals that you have for yourself. These are things that you have in place. And if you lie to yourself saying that I'm going to make a phone call, or I was going to go talk to the investor, but
now somebody else got the deal because you didn't do anything.
And you're lying to yourself, you're cheating yourself, and you're causing yourself to look like an asshat.
So don't let that be you. Like the thing is, it's just like smoking cigarettes or any other habit. So the more you do it, start simple. Go in your bed, have a notebook, and write 10 things that you want to accomplish. And start with that. Start with 10 things. And accomplishing them from there and more and more. Once you make that into a habit, you're going to see that you're going to be able to pack a lot more in, be a lot more productive, get things done a lot faster. And, well, we'll talk about the difference.
Two more things I want to mention.
Send it in, big brother.
The first thing I want to say is ask yourself this. Who in this world became extremely successful based off of procrastination?
Oh, I want to hear it.
The answer is nobody. Nobody has become successful or have gotten the things that they want in their life by being lazy. Lazy is ridiculous. It should not be in your arsenal whatsoever. The fucking Bruno Mars Lazy song is the most annoying song that I fucking know, because he literally says, today I don't feel like doing anything. I'm just going to lay in my bed. You waste an entire day of your life doing absolutely nothing but sleeping on your ass. What are you doing to better yourself at that point? I can understand if you have health issues and you need to rest. That's totally understandable. My mom has health issues. She needs to rest. That's different. She's already fucking lived a life. She's owned businesses. She's became successful. She busted her ass. She deserves the fucking rest. She's got a lot of health issues. I get that. But what about other people? other people don't have those conditions. Other people who don't have those things. You want to sit there and tell me that, oh, I don't feel like getting out of bed because
Wah, wah, wah.
because I'm depressed.
I don't want to go to the fucking gym.
Yeah, that no, I ain't trying to hear none of that shit.
Go to the fucking gym.
Go to the gym.
Go
Do
to the
something.
fucking gym.
Do something to better yourself.
Get her done.
If you're not doing anything to better yourself, then I can't be around you, because at the end of the day, that negativity is gonna fucking rub off on me.
Go to the fucking
I
gym.
see you relaxing and I want to relax. And here goes the issue. That's just my subconscious telling me I want to relax, but everything in my being tells me that I can't relax. So the moment I see you relax and it starts to affect me, guess what's happened? There's the door. You're fucking up my success because I'm allowing you to.
Sayonara.
See what I'm saying? And the last thing I want to say is this. Look at your surroundings, understand your position, and know that there is more that you can do than what you think you can do. For instance, I'll throw in a random example out there. I might not own a house
Jet.
but if I rent, guess what? Still my house. I'll put it to you this way. If I got married, right, and I have a spouse, and I put into the house, and we've been married for 30 years, 20 years, 5 years, 5 years, fucking 1 year, right? And I put into the house, and now something happens where my health is making it so I'm unable to work. Does that discredit the fact that I still put into the house? Is it still my fucking house? You're damn right it's my fucking house. If I bust my ass and I put in towards the house, then it's my fucking house. Should I allow other people who live in my house tell me what I should do with my house? The answer is no.
It's your kingdom.
It's your fucking house. And what a lot of people don't realize is when you're married and you have a wife, guess whose house it is? It's your wife's fucking house. It's not your house. You might think that it's your fucking house because you're paying the bills or whatnot, and your wife might be sick or ill or whatever the case may be, but that's the whole part of fucking vows, man. Till death do you part. Once you get married, and your wife moves in to your house, it's no longer your house. These are the ways of the world. If you get a divorce, guess who gets the house?
You better have a prenup.
So my point is this. It's not your house. A house is what you make of it. Whether it's an apartment, hell, my house could be the fucking square on a sidewalk. But that's my house. Nobody's going to fucking tell me what I can and cannot do in my house. Your house is supposed to be a place of comfort, a place of peace, a place of relaxation, a place where you can fucking start having a foundation to rest your head so that when you face the fucking world, you can be successful. And the people in your house make your house. The people in your house are driving you fucking nuts. Then is it really a fucking house? No, it's not. At that point, it's just a fucking building and it's purgatory. Be around people who love you. Be around people who care. And better yourself. And I had to do those things. I've been in many different places where I didn't want to be, and then I allowed people to move into my house. I actually owned a house, and I lost my house because I would take in people off the street trying to help them, and they destroyed my fucking house because while I was working all fucking day, they were destroying my house left and right. Literally destroying my house. And I had to lose my house that I worked hard for. I owned a company. I owned a construction company, residential construction company. And I lost thousands of fucking dollars because I hired people based off of their word. and they fucked me. I lost my house, lost my business, lost everything. I had my own fucking siblings. My sister stole fucking $6,000 from me. $6,000 and left me in Maine. Abandoned my ass in Maine. Just said, fuck you, figure it out. In the middle of winter, I had to figure shit out, you know? So people don't realize that if you're around people who don't give a fuck, obviously, how are you gonna give a fuck? Sometimes you have to tell people who don't give a fuck you. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do because it's my boat. This is my boat. I am the captain. This is my ship. This ain't your ship. This is my life. I'm taking control of my life. You have no control in my life. And it should not happen. Ever. You should now never allow somebody else to be the captain of your ship. That's some fucking wild shit if I ever heard it. Somebody else can help build the ship. That's called being a ship maker. But does the ship maker become the captain? No. You might know the ins and outs of the ship. But does that mean that he's the fucking captain? No. No. The captain's the captain. You might have people in your life that help shape you to who you are. But does that discredit the hard work that you put into it? You are the captain of your ship. No one else can tell you anything. That's it. And once those things get into your life, and once you see these things happening, I promise you, mental health will not be affecting you anymore. Success will be driven. Trust me. Drive.
Absolutely. I know for a fact. Actually, might as well finish it off with some other news. We're gonna definitely do another segment about mental health and the things that have been going on as well, because you guys are really valuable. But we want to make sure that before we conclude an hour and a half episode, that we let you guys know to be aware there is a serial killer on the loose. No, let's be clear. Potential serial killer.
There's no links. There's no links to the actual 8 people that were killed as of yet.
Yeah, what you know about that, bro?
So pretty much what's going on is like most of New England. I know it's Killingley, Connecticut, Plymouth, Farmington, Groton. I think Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island,
New Haven,
Connecticut, as well as Springfield, Massachusetts. There's and then Foster, Rhode Island. I think it was Foster, Rhode Island, but and Norwalk as well. Pretty sure, Groton, I think too. But anyways, they've been finding bodies,
dead ones,
and although law enforcement said that there's like they can't find any motives to these killings, and they're treating it as an individual case by case basis. There is a potential threat out there, and so there's a couple things that you can do to keep yourself safe. One, please do not help a stranger if they're fucking pulling that fucking "oh my car broke down" bullshit. Okay. 2, after a certain amount of, like once it gets dark outside, stay your ass inside. There's no need for you to go to the fucking club or go out and drink and party and have all these fucking alcohol. Granted, I know that a lot of business owners who own these clubs aren't going to like these ideas, but again, it's also in your due diligence to make sure that your patrons are safe, right?
So, always say absolutely. One thing, change your location. If you're going to the club with somebody, let somebody that is not going to the club that, hey, I'm going to be going to the club to these places just in case.
Yes. Well, not only that, don't go alone. Bring your friends with you and make sure that at least somebody stays fucking sober so that when they can be like, hey, listen,
body system.
I'll drive us home instead of just having a random guy take you home or a random girl take you home. We don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but let's just be real here, man. There's safety precautions, and then God forbid if something does happen, there are certain things that you need to do. One of the things is if you're blindfolded, what me and Dennis were talking about earlier today is count Mississippi's and trying to determine which turns you're going through, so that way if you escape, you know where you are, and you can get help. and then you can retrace your steps into knowing exactly where you are. Like there's a bunch of things that you can do. But most importantly, stay safe, man. Don't stop for strangers. If you see somebody begging for money on the side of the road, I mean, I'm not going to tell you to not give them money or do things because I would do it, but in the same sense, be smart, man.
Yeah, a lot of people in New York, they like, not everybody, but a lot of them do it to see if they can actually get you. What's the word? So you're not paying attention, basically, and
Yeah,
then from there they pull out the guns or their
no
knives
rob
and
you
so
and
on.
stuff.
So
Like you got to
you
be
gotta
careful.
trust
You
your
got to be
gut.
careful.
So
You never know. You could just be walking down the street oblivious, going to a fucking store, and somebody can keep an eye on you. One of the things that I notice, especially today's society, is when people are out in public, they always have their fucking eyes on their
fucking phones, right in the fucking phones.
dude. I'm telling you, like, if you're walking down the street, why the fuck are you playing Candy Crush? Walking down the fucking road.
Being on Facebook.
If you're gonna talk to somebody on the phone, put them on the phone and keep your head up, and look around.
Eyeballs.
So when I walk down the street, one thing that I am 100% certain that I do is I walk with my head up. I know this for a fact. Even if I'm listening to music, I walk with my head up. Especially being a man, you should always walk with purpose and always check your corners. Always check your corners.
360-degree awareness
Oh
at
my
all times.
God, you have to. You have to, man. Especially nowadays, dude. Remember a couple of years ago, the young kids came out with that knockout game where they were like randomly punching people in the face.
Yeah, for no
Oh
reason.
my God, I was hoping somebody would try that with me.
Oh, please,
Dude,
please.
like you fucking come up and you fucking sucker punch me in my face, bro. We're both going to jail. And and I'm not going to jail for something light either, dude. I'm taking you the fuck out. And as far as you're going to jail, and you're not gonna go to jail for a simple fucking assault. Like you're gonna be in handcuffs. They're gonna fucking take you down there. Then you're gonna start fucking convulsing inside the fucking jail cell. Then what they're gonna do is they're gonna take your ass to the hospital, and you're gonna fucking have fucking massive head injuries and aneurysms. So you're gonna end up fucking dying in the hospital. Then I'm going away for a long time because I'm not gonna fucking stop. If you have the disgusting nature to sucker punch somebody who's walking down the street, you're a low life piece of shit. You're like the worst type of piece of. That's not even like fucking clout worthy. Like all these people I sit there and say, "Oh, you should do that." You go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Like with a fucking I don't even know. Like that's just nasty stuff to do to somebody. Like spitting on somebody.
Let's keep it on the perspective before it's a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah,
now,
about sucker punching people.
These people that actually see now with technology, the way things are going, you can meet anybody on Facebook, dating, Instagram, got on plenty of fest, so on. It's
careful.
really important when you are going to meet these people. Number one, do it in somewhere that is public. Don't go into somebody's car that you don't know yet, and so on. It's really important. If you're driving, use another car. That means that you gotta take an Uber to the coffee shop. So be it. You gotta physically, especially nowadays, it's really important that you know the person before you start doing this first day out. Oh yeah, you can pick me up from my house or near my house and drive me and so on because it's really important.
You're going on a date. You're going on a date. Does somebody really need to know where you live as soon as you talk to them on the internet? Fuck no. That's common sense.
And you love it.
That's common sense, dude. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say that I haven't done it personally. Like, I've gone to chicks' houses before, off the internet and stuff like that. And works out great. But in the same sense, you gotta also look at it this way too. Like, it's fucking, you gotta, like, safety's number one, above all. Like, I know I'm a good guy, but do you know if I'm a good guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can sit there and tell you I'm a good guy, but are you really gonna believe that I'm a good guy? Like,
you don't know him from chat.
You know what I'm saying?
Facebook post.
So So like you really have to get to know a person before they enter your dwelling. You know, I get it. Hormones happen. You want to have fun. Like I'm a guy, you know, I want to have fun too. But in the same sense, dude, like if you live by yourself, do you really want a fucking random stranger to come into your house when you live there by yourself?
And probably die right there on the spot. 'Cause
Like, come on,
they can
man.
rape you, they can kill
Be
you.
fucking
You just
smart.
don't know.
Be smart. Be a dumbass.
And that's all we got for tonight, guys. Thank you very much for everybody hearing, listening to us
It's
or
been a
3 o'clock and so on. But you guys are definitely worth it here on the Diaz Task Force podcast. Wherever you hear this, you heard it all. And now we're gonna do more safety tips and so on. I know that today we're gonna went a little bit left or right, but there's still a lot of we still have a lot to cover, and we'll do it on the next episode of. We'll get to the title later on. I don't get
Guardians of Survivors.
Yeah, but what was it? We having a blooper, but anyways, you get the point, guys. Bottom line is, we love you. Make sure that you guys are safe. The reason that we do this type of stuff is not to put you down or talk shit about you. It's the complete opposite. We want you to grow. We want to see you grow. Because at the end of the day, that's how we win. When you do better, we feel better because you're doing amazing, and we all believe in you. And we wish you guys nothing to but the best. Anyways, you guys can find out more if you want to learn more about tech. You can check his YouTube. He got a podcast coming up as well, and there's so much more to cover. Now you're gonna see us YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You guys already know that if you're hearing us, is from the media. We also in XM and the whole 9 yards. I try to keep it short so we can go ahead put this on the air tonight. And anything to say on the 5 seconds?
Yeah, just real quick. Like I said, you heard my life. You like. There's more to it. Obviously, I'll get back into that on my podcast. But the main story for tonight is mental health. Better yourself. Have goals. And as far as safety goes, don't be a dumbass. Stay alert.
And also, don't be a serial killer because I'm really tempted, and I think I will. By the way, before we go, I do want to honor. Unfortunately, thus far that we know of, there have been 8 people that have died or they've been killed. Now, only 3 people were identified. So I do want to take the time and finding the names as we speak, because I want to take the time to at least give them a little love, because that's not cool, man. So there is 1 second, guys. There is Paige Fannon, age 35, from West Islip. Oh, that's Long Island. From West Islip, Long Island. And she was found dead in Newark, Connecticut. Denise Leary, 59, from New Haven, Connecticut. You want to do the next one, my brother?
Sure.
Michelle?
Yep, Michelle Romeo, 56, Warwick, Rhode Island.
Right, Michelle Romano, 56, from Warwick.
And the other ones are unidentified, and it looks like the remains are in very poor shape.
Yeah, some of it looks like it's been chopped up. We want to give you the truth that,
or even decaying. So like, there's a lot. I mean, it's disgusting. And anybody who supports people who do this, man.
Facebook pages over 65,000.
Like, that's just gross. That's just disgusting.
Oh yeah, so
like it's all fun and games until something like this happens to one of your family members.
Yeah, to your daughter, to your mom, to your sister, to your auntie,
or to you.
And then what?
And then what? Everybody's gonna start laughing and cracking jokes about it.
Now it became a mystery, huh?
Yeah, that like I've seen this shit time and time again. Especially with the younger kids nowadays, is they think death is the fucking joke. It is not a joke. Death is not something that you want to play around with. Take it from people who've seen death on many different instances, and some of us even knocking on death's door. Okay? I have seen people die. I have seen it. I have seen some things that you could never possibly fucking imagine. Dennis has been to war. He has seen lifelessness leave a person's body.
Oh yeah.
It is not something to joke about.
The glaze over their eyes. I'll leave it at that.
I have seen my best friend commit suicide. He committed suicide in my house, and I had to cut him out of my closet. Death is not something that you want to joke around with.
Especially wish it to somebody else, innocent person. I mean, if you're a rapist or pedophile, that's a whole different story. Open game.
You know,
but
I'm gonna make a pact to the family members who are affected by this. If I see any one of these asshats clowning around about it, I'll be sure enough to fucking deal with it, and I'll be sure enough to let you know personally who exactly these people are, because I will. I'm not gonna incriminate myself, but let's just say I'm not very thrilled with your behavior, and you better yourself, because God forbid, like I said it before and I'll say it again, it's one of my famous quotes from Genghis Khan: for if you did not sin, God would have put a punishment like me upon you. And I strongly believe that.
Absolutely, everybody. Thank you for hearing. I'm gonna go do some editing, because there's some things I do gotta edit, like a coffin and stuff like that, and then we will take it from there. But anyways, everybody, thank you for listening. We love you all. There will be a lot more podcasts coming at you live, and everybody, good day, good night, whatever it is. We love you all.